Welcome back. We are moving on to a fifth and final game with Godsent facing off against Resolve. Dan even celebrating that with a little dance himself. How are we feeling about this one, Ox?
I'm hyped. Both these teams have issues, and obviously not having the split they'd hoped for. Godsent yesterday had some internet issues, even though it felt like their play was on a bit of another level. Resolve it's been kind of underwhelming, and I like that they've started to switch things up. They put Chimera on these more proactive, aggressive picks, but it's still not quite clicking. And I think a lot of mistakes on, where they want to be on the map and what plays they're looking for, they're kind of just getting a bit manhandled by a lot of the teams. But here, this is a really important win for either team, and ultimately they're both pretty much at the bottom of the groups and need to find this.
And now, Foxtrip, you have actually predicted Resolve today. What's your insight on towards that prediction?
Firstly, there's more English players on Resolve than Godsent, so obviously there's that.
I can't argue with that.
I'm all in on R2. Honestly, I just think he's really good.
Wait. So you went. There's more
He's
English
the Danish
players,
guy.
and then you went for the Danish guy. Okay.
I know what I've done here, but I really do think that he's been performing really, really well, and he's really hard to target in draft as well. He's played like a unique champion every single game. And I just think, if Resolve want to find success, like being able to put that on the shoulders of Archu is a good way to do it, whether that's through some early game agency, whether that's through more scaling picks. I do think it's not as important to make sure that he's set up in the draft. I think that's more important for someone like Soph and maybe Chimera as well. But either way, he's the guy I've got my eyes on.
And I feel like this Shin's our first pick. It's a bit of a statement, and honestly, I respect it because I feel like both Static and Soph has been really good facilitators for their team, able to get the ball rolling early, and honestly, capable of carrying as well. So I like the priority being put in the jungle picks. There's still a ton of options open and available for Soph. The only thing really ruled out of Jaeger and Gwen, and to be honest, that's kind of expected with how broken they are.
Yeah, they're crazy strong champions. What about? I mean, Soph plays Olaf. Do you think maybe that could be a pick into Xin?
The only situation I like Olaf is with Lulu. I think with Lulu mid, it's pretty strong, but I think Xin is just better because you have that extra mobility. You scale better just because of the fact that ultimate makes you so strong in team fights, whereas Olaf, particularly into some later game AD carries, you kind of just get turned into mincemeat. Here though, they've got a ton of engage. It's instantly going to threaten an AD carry with Ezreal off the board that limits options. And I like the knocked in top, finds priority in a lot of matchups. For me, I think Godsent should be looking at Thresh here. It allows a lot of safety to your backline, and particularly when you're going up against something like this, gives you that option. Akali, though, obviously a great lock-in.
So there's two things that come to my mind here. Like, I think the value of Lucian rises whenever you've got a Rumble jungle. So does Twisted Fate, obviously. That's what I was going to say next. But yeah, that surprises me a little bit, I'll be honest. I mean, so TF into Akali, it's decent because you can reveal her in a shroud, and you've got abilities to shut that, like lock her down with that CC. So that's always nice to do. But it's not a pick we see too much of, honestly. And I do think Chimera here, he's going to play more towards like sides and stuff like that. But also just the fact that you've got Nocturne plus Twisted Fate on one team is pretty terrifying. So yeah, Godsent are going to have to be careful from getting ganked from like 3 screens away.
The thing is,
Right
the global...
go on, sorry.
The global pressure is good, and they should... The thing is, Resolve are going to have to find numbers advantages, because right now their mid-jungle 2v2 just flat out loses. Akali and Xin are so powerful in that, and on top of that, they're against double AP, so easier itemization. You can grab early Merc-Tres if you want, or even just some MR. And I feel like they will get absolutely smashed in that regard, and then it allows Godsent a lot of freedom to take over the map. So if Resolve can withstand that, don't opt into those early skirmishes, they can look to play the map and play a wider map state. But it's going to be tricky to get to that point. And I think having a strong bot lane that takes priority is going to be really important, because if bot is struggling as well, you're going to struggle to have really anywhere to play around.
Yeah, and you can see with the top side of the map having been picked up, it's only the AD carries and support who's really missing here. So is there any priority picks you guys are looking onto right now to be picked? Because right now, Thresh, a champion we've talked about a lot, still up and available. How does this fit into this scenario?
Yeah, I think Thresh would be pretty good, actually, right? Like, I mean, Thresh is very malleable. You put him wherever you want, and he's gonna work, right? Like, he's never like a terrible choice. But I think it really depends as well on like the lane matchups, and this is just something you can't see right now, right? You're gonna have to blind pick one of your champions right here. So many bans towards that bot side. That's 5 AD carry bans. is going to be the safest kind of blind pick in this situation, the Thresh. Orcs, you don't seem too happy with this one.
I'm mixed because I think Thresh is good here, but honestly, I mean, I feel like it's more for denial because I think it's really good for Godsent to keep the AD carry safe from all that. I feel like Thresh can't necessarily do enough against Akali. We saw that in the game with Singularity. And I might have preferred priority on an AD carry in this scenario just to have something safe. But in fairness, the denial is a massive factor. And if they're going to end up picking something like Jinx, a lot of these immobile carries, the ones left open, then it just ends up being a Jinx Tom situation. It's like you've kind of fed into that. The Jinx is going to be safe. And I feel like maybe something with a bit more hard engage would have been a better facilitator because you have this Rumble, you have this Nocturne, and I'd love to have something that can dive in with them.
He's just going through all the AD carries. Which one do you want to pick today, Archu? I think the first one we saw. Okay.
Well, there we go. It's just straight up going to be the Vayne here. So a bit of kiting, if that is a word against an Akali. Obviously, you can go stealth.
Yeah.
But boys, now we are at the point where I will have you break down some of these compositions. So any takers, any dipsters here?
Do you want to have first choice?
Nah, I went first last time, mate. It's on you.
Sure. So the thing with Resolve's composition is they have a lot of global pressure, which allows them to play for this Vayne. They do need to be looking to play a wide map state, and the problem with that is the Vayne's not the best at wave clearing, and they're also lacking a little bit in priority on the bot side. So they need to do a lot of work to get this Vayne fed, but one thing that could be said for it is she's good at dealing with these skirmish-heavy champions. Things like the Akali, things like Lee Sin. There's a ton of outplay potential. You know, Foxtrot, you highlighted Chu as a big star player for this team. If he pops off in this Vayne, it definitely could be a game that he carries.
And on the other coin, I also think like someone like Lee Sin, I think Lee Sin is good into Vayne in the sense that, you know, you can, if you put your cripple down, then she's done. Like she can't stealth, she can't do any of that stuff, and she's really slow, so her tumbling doesn't really work as well either. And you just kick her, and it's like, okay, there's no outplay for that. You know, like depending on the setup of the fights, at least. Like, I do think there's potential here for Godsent to be able to take this, and I think for Archu, like it's just not going to be like Archu. I put my eggs in the Archu basket. I think he's great, and I love Archu, and I would have faith in him to be able to carry this game. But I also think like it's not going to be easy for him to do that necessarily. He's got a lot of scary champions coming up the other way, so it really just depends on how he executes.
Well,
I mean,
we have it.
Akali's broken, so I mean, I guess it's over already.
All right, I didn't want the casters talking anyway. Jamada, Viperoon, do you feel like talking today? Because now's your shot. Take it away.
For reference, in the production, we got a production chat, right? We spoke about it loads of times. Google we got a little system breaking the 4-4 here.
Yeah.
It's a T system, right? You know, and someone wants to talk, put a T in chat. Google put T like 3 times.
Just spamming
as well as I think that both the Dans there just having a little fun. Trying to get first day.
He's doing great for a first time hosting.
He is doing absolutely amazing, by the way.
Stellar work. Gulberg, we love you.
Yeah, we do love you. But I want to actually carry on Foxdrop's point because I do agree. I think I'm gonna have to pause because Aesthetic might face check straight into 3 members.
Stupid. He's going to pull up with the gold card and the tumble, and the dev sentence ignite, and he is gone. It's going to be first blood going over a Chu, and does that help illustrate your point at all?
Yes, a little bit actually, a lot maybe, potentially. No, it does a lot. As I've worked with Archie. Archie was one of my former players. And if he's called for something like a Vayne pick, he is confident that he's going to make it work. So I look at the other side on Godsent and I say, honestly, there's not a lot of immediate hard CC, and those kind of conditions are really good for Vayne to thrive in. And as Foxtrot also additionally highlighted, there's a lot of outplay potential here, right? Without there being a whole bunch of immediate point-and-click hard CC, the only thing that Godsent are really working with is like a Lee Sin kick, right? But at the end of the day, you still have to get into a position where Archu can be kicked and then CC down in the duration of or that. So it's going to be difficult in that sense. I will say, I'm not sure I like the entirety of Resolve's draft, at least maybe in the order that it was picked in. I think they could have definitely been a little more oppressive given their opening rotation, but I still think they've ended up with enough great tools here to pull out a win. A lot of agency from their lanes. Got 2 pretty okay solo lane matchups. I think Lee Sin definitely should probably win out on the early priority. Trade a bit of his HP pool. He's always happy to do that. Nocturne on the top side should be gaining a whole bunch in the early stages. And down here, both the bottom lanes leashed. But I still think it will be this Jinx. Tahm Kench getting ahead though. There's a longsword advantage, so you have to take that into account. It could certainly help out Archu and Fast Legs in this lane.
Absolutely, and it's worth reminding people, if you've been playing a bit of League of Legends today, we're on a different patch. This is old Tahm Kench, not new Tahm Kench. So,
New Tahm Kench change. That's right.
can still be played as a support. Fun fact,
Yeah.
because after the rework, I'm not so sure anymore. But fortunately, Zvene is able to eat this Jinx as much as he'd like. Fastleg not able to find Flay, which means that there's going to be no kill pressure right now. But it's very interesting to see a game where both teams are kind of so focused on one champion.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I think for Resolve, there's a lot of facilitation tools. I think Chimera's got two very nice solo lanes, or side lanes, rather, that actually fought to. I think on the top side, it's impossible for Akali to actually, you know, shroud this gank, right? Destiny's going to reveal her. Tether also reveals her in the shroud, so she's just going to have a pretty rough time. In the jungle, not getting bullied out as well, but the bottom side. Issues here.
I think everyone gets away here. Aesthetic, pretty convinced he wants to go for this.
Chimera.
Chimera, what happened to you? And now we've got people moving in mid lane. Bot side, people are getting beaten up. Mid lane, people are getting in the jungle. It continues. Caleb needs to be careful. We'll be able to get the fit out onto Aesthetic. He's going to flee away, but Kubu decides to step back of his own accord. And goodness me, everyone's scrapping, but no one's dying.
Yeah, so Yusa, no summon. That's the underlining fact there. If Sop is able to make it down to the bottom side, there's potential. But of course, you have to play around the Tahm Kench Devourer. And on the top side, Aesthetic doing the correct thing. Takes 3 camps, walks into Rumble's jungle. He understands the pathing over Rumble, right? At the end of the day, it's going to be very linear. And he takes his bottom side, walks onto that red buff, aggresses onto him. Rumble hates being invaded in the early stages. He is not a champion that can deal very well with it. So nice read there from Godsent. And it also ends up leading over, I think, into mid lane, though it could have honestly been entirely earned on 610's actions as well. As kill is still the only thing in this game from that first build at level 1. But all of the summoners being down, you expect the next time there's an engagement, there will certainly be a kill or two going down, as you can see. Top side, Priory should always be in Caleb's favor. And there's a lot more sustain in this kit. So in comparison to the Akali. The Akali lost a whole bunch of, or all of her sustain actually. I don't think she has any sustain in her kit anymore.
And it's very interesting. It kind of speaks to the mess that we're in right now. We've talked about it at length, both on cast and on desk. This idea of people wanting to be a bit more aggressive. No one's really picking for scaling. And all of these lanes have been playing like they're not picking for scaling. They want to be getting involved. They want to be fighting at every opportunity. And it's just good, entertaining League of Legends at the end of the day. Both of these teams so desperately need this win Resolve to get back on track. And Godsent still hunting for their first win. And it's going to be definitely exciting to see where the next big skirmish kicks off. Because as you said, with so many resources being burnt, any engagement could be deadly.
Yeah, absolutely. And, you know, at least for me, for Resolve as a whole, I'm at pause this point. Kubu.
I think Caleb's okay.
Yeah, I think the Ignites are kind of just the white flag of the trade. We'll just say, yeah, never mind. As actually, I just realized Caleb is significantly down on XP, not just the CS, but say he's level 4. If we could actually get a click on Caleb, I want to see how close he is. Yeah, he's so far behind. Kubu is about halfway to level 6 almost, whereas Caleb only now hitting level 5. Yeah, you can see he's more than halfway to 6. So I guess maybe on the defense of the invade, Caleb must have missed the wave. That's the only thing I can think of.
He's got teleport up, so he's been forced back as well.
Yeah,
Kubu has
there is that. So yeah, not a great start for the top side of the map, but nothing that should, you know, bleed into anything else, any further advantage just yet. But you definitely don't like to be that far behind, as 6s are going to start to tick over pretty soon. Particularly, I'm looking at Chimera, who, you know, Twisted Fate, when you talk about these globals, and Paranoia as well, but obviously in the top side of offense, a little bit different. The first usage of that one, really, really important, right? We want to see Chimera go over to the side lane. It doesn't matter what side, whether it's top because Akali is a flash Akali, or whether it's on the bottom side, to try and propel Archu further ahead. It has to be a success. Otherwise, things typically start to get a little harder. You start to see the teams of the TF start to struggle if they're not able to get a successful Destiny gate off on first cast, as Chimera is actually pretty far behind the XP too. He just dinged over level 6, whereas 610 is almost level 7. There's large XP differences.
It's interesting. And I'm not 100% sure why, because Chimera maybe looking towards this bot side, has got that ultimate available, as you said.
I think it's gonna be top.
You reckon?
Yeah. I think now that Yus has got both of his summoners back, it's going to be too difficult to actually port down onto this lane unless in the middle of a trade where all the tools have been used. I think you just try and pick on the Akali. Honestly, I think you try and shove a wave in if you can. If you can't, not the end of the world. But at this point, unless they can make it a 4-man dive party where they know there's no response from Godsent, I think they should just try and propel top side ahead. Because at the moment, Archu is relatively comfortable. He's got a CS lead. You don't have to necessarily force plays around the bottom side of the map if you've got this lane scaling up, you know, sort of silently and in a way where, you know, there's a margin of error to executing on a lane, right? You don't want to necessarily falter on the execution and then maybe give up your comfortable side of the map. And at the end of the day, the top side isn't necessarily a losing side of the map for Resolve either. So I think top side would maybe be the better choice for now. But Herald is on the menu, it seems like, for Resolve. They've moved fast leg up. Archu's also had a reset, so he should be fine and should be able to pick up this wave. Let's see if Godsent get a read on this. I think they might have sniffed something out potentially, but the reset signal to me that they don't even know this is going on. There's no pings on the minimap either.
To pick this one up gives them a little bit of an incentive to play aggressively, try and get something going in one of these lanes. Is there somewhere particularly, do you want to go invest this into a Chu on the bot side?
Yeah, I think the Herald, you definitely want to try to invest into Archu. It's a bit of a secondary objective. Though, I mean, when you think about it, Vayne in a game is typically the primary sort of, you know, the vocal point of any competition. So maybe for Resolve, it just is that. But I think getting the gold injection at as little cost as possible is the best thing here. I don't think targets are too important. There's a lot of damage dealers in this team. As a stack, he's been waiting here a while. Soft, he's in the area kind of, by the means of he's on this side of the map, but this gank happens. I don't think he'll be here to respond in time.
Kalen might be able to get away. Decent amount of damage coming through from the Akali. There's the paranoid to stop people from coming through. And the equalizer's coming down. Kalen goes down, but Akali burning low. Aesthetic should fall here. And it will be 1-for-1 at the moment. But Kubi wrong side of the map. Very low health bar. 610 is there. Might be trying to get off the top, but won't be able to hit the point blank Q. Means that 610 could be in trouble. Has to flash away, but the gold card will still land. Chimera putting in a decent amount of damage. The harpoon's falling. The fire is spitting, but the kick is good. And Lee Sin will be able to get away.
Yeah, very nice kick. Can't say the same about the Sonic Wave. And Resolve, they did actually rotate their bottom lane up, so Archu might miss a couple of creeps here, some of this wave. Zvene going to do his best without actually giving away his life on this play. So Resolve actually taking the aggressive way back in. They might be looking for the fight, potentially. It's hard to say.
Needs to be a little bit careful, but the Death Sentence will land on target. Just going to get played backwards. A decent amount going through from a Chu, but he's going pretty low. Shield comes in. The aggression might dissipate here, but Yusa stepping forward knows this Vayne. Probably loses this 1v1 at the moment if she's not careful, but she's going back to farm.
Yeah, going back to farming, and as you say, this is the 1v1 at the moment. Vayne, as time goes on, will get a lot more potent in her ability to 1v1. Of course, 2v2. Herald did go into the Resolve's pocket, and then obviously the still weighing on where exactly Soft's gonna put that one down. Both the globals blown for Resolve, though they're actually about 3/4 of the way, almost about 2/3 in Chimera's case. So got to see where exactly he's going to use that Destiny Gate. First one, you can definitely call a success. At least picking up the kill on to, I believe it was a stack. They have to find more successful plays here. Again, I feel like playing into the bottom side is going to be a bit too difficult given how Zvene and Yusa have been piloting this one out. Unless they are able to get a bit of a dog power going, you know, a straight up 4 or 5 man on the bottom side. I think trying to just put this Kali down, get as much gold out of the top side as possible. Still just as good as trying to force a play around the bottom side, because again, force a play around the bottom side, you never know what the response could be from Godsent, and if they're there and they hit the mark, all of a sudden the game is flipped. Just start to lose out.
Fastleg in trouble though, puts the box down. We're taking so much hurt. You can see Svene's flash record. Can he get the stun? Yes, he can, even though he's knocked aside. The condemn doesn't matter as User picks up the kill. Teleport coming in behind her. You can see the paranoia has been used before the Nocturne arrives, but he'll be able to immediately jump onto the Jinx, gets into Svene's belly, but will he be able to survive? I don't know. User flashes away, but the Tahm Kench does not. Aesthetic tries to get to Khmer, but will not be able to do so. Soft gets the Flame Splitter kill as well. Resolve turn the fight around. Excellent play from everyone.
Yeah, great response there from the play. And I mean, it was definitely a misstep from Fastleg at the start of it, but at the end of the day, it forces Godsent to overextend because they also want to pick up Archu on the back side of it. Now, Khmer's going to also teleport to the top side, so they're not going to miss too much up there. They're also going to give all of the plates down here to Archu. So this is kind of the other thing we wanted, was either force into the top side or try and get these plates into Archu safely, because I think the underlining factor, and they are going to be able to do that. It's a lot of gold all of a sudden into Archu's pocket. It's 6-10. Rooted up, but the minions were in the way of Fastleg, potentially closing the gap. As we'll get a replay, and yeah, I mean, Fastleg honestly just, yeah, I'm not sure about this one. It's a Guardian Thresh. It's not actually Aftershock, so he doesn't get a whole bunch of resistances after landing the CC. You can see they tried to force forward onto Archu. That's when the Paranoia, the Destiny Gate, and the Teleport all come down at the same time. And at this point, it still looked a bit risky potentially, but Stopwatch comes through from Khmer rather, and with that means that Svene drops, Stair gets gold carded up, and Soft throws up the thumbs up. Takes down Usa underneath the tower. And it's now swung Resolve to 2,000 gold up in that department, as Archu's now got his first time, almost first times across the board actually for Resolve. So they're going to be feeling pretty confident about probably starting up this dragon pretty soon, you'd imagine. There's no team, 14 minutes into the game, neither team's taken a dragon yet.
Not interested in the neutral objective, except for, of course, that Rift Herald, which has been used. But I'm looking at this game currently, right now, and as you said, the power spikes are being hit by Resolve. They're getting towards those first item mythics pretty much across the board, just waiting on Chimera to land that one. And it looks like Resolve are in a really, really nice position. They've sent a Chu top to try and pick up any last dregs of gold. Can't get any more plates. But honestly, been very impressed with how they've played across so far. Yes, there's been a couple of micro decision-making errors, but even so, with stuff like Fastleg's play there, that condemn comes a second earlier. Maybe the stun doesn't land from Tahm Kench, maybe they get away, but Godsent have a lot of work to do.
Absolutely, and Godsent trying to actually cross-map. Okay.
Caleb going in, he's got support behind him, and Chimera landed on the chomp, but stun comes down to Aesthetic. Caleb needs to be very, very careful. The Nocturne doesn't have a tower anymore, and there's the Super Mega Death Rocket. Chimera's gonna fall as well as members dive onto the back. It's a double in the end. What were they thinking?
Yeah, that's fundamentally incorrect decision making.
I just complimented them.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, Resolve just had members commit to the top side. Their strong side is the top side. You almost never defend the weak side play when you know you're at a numbers disadvantage like this. It's kind of just by the books. You should know this kind of stuff. But Chimera felt a little bit possessed to try and defend this top laner. And you can understand it because, I mean, in all fairness, Yusa was a little bit further behind than Svene and Aesthetic were, but the response had to be immediate, and it wasn't quite that. And even if they did take him down, I think they also had 610 rotating over, so they still would have died. It's not like the tower was healthy enough to also survive. Not sold on that, but hey, at the end of the day, for Godsent, definitely good looks. 3 donation kills onto Yusa as a
Lantern has been used. Kubu still searching, looking for a Chu, who's used the final hour, getting so much damage onto the Akali, but Godsent are moving forward. Aesthetic looking for damage. User looking for reset. 610 cannot find anything as Fastlegged and Chu make their excuses and leave, but close to losing that vein. But in the mid lane, Chimera gets a bit of damage down with the Rift Herald support.
Yeah, Herald's going to take down this mid tier 1, so sort of on both sides. I think there's a lot of macro decisions going on here, a lot of trades and towers, in particular resources on both ends as Resolve take this mid tier 1. Caleb shoving in the bottom side because he knows he's unattended. Kubi will come to answer. Definitely an overextension from Archu there. He baited into a false sense of fury because he's got the lantern. And yes, whilst he doesn't die, it means that he has to go and reset with Fastleg. Houston now gets this tower, so it ends up being a delayed tower trade anyway. And when you're talking about Kubu just traded Ignite for 4 summoner spells, you can be happy with that.
Yeah, decent
Cuban.
exchange.
Yeah, it's, you know, trade offer. I receive 4 summoner spells.
You receive.
You receive my ignite. I guess that's it. So, pretty decent stuff. And now Archu just temporarily going to be a little more vulnerable. But again, there's not a crazy amount of hard lockdown from the get-go on the Godsent side of things, and there's no neutral objective for the next 3 minutes. So, nothing really to even worry about. This is going to be a period of farming. And by that point, Flash will just about be off cooldown. So, not too terrible. So looking towards Godsent to maybe try and capitalize on it, but when you're talking about having to deal with effectively double global, 2.5 if you count Rumble Ult, it's very, very difficult to make plays. One moment you feel like you've got the numbers, next you are outnumbered very quickly.
How are you counting Rumble Ult as global?
I mean, the range on it is pretty obnoxious. I don't know if you quite know.
Oh, don't get. I'm an expert on how much I hate Rumble.
Like a semi. Like, let's be real.
Struggle to see.
Right, look at where Soft's standing, right?
Okay.
He could almost ultimate the Raptor from where he's standing. You're telling me that's not like kinda. He's just got to be close to that. He's got to be like 2,000 units away, and he's like out of fight.
I don't know. I'm unconvinced. It doesn't feel like a global, but you know what, Jamada? You know more about League than I do. So I'll let you have that one as 610 gonna be diving away. Soft trying to land that global ultimate with the slow, with the ignite. They get the kill. Chimera secures it.
Yeah, Soft's global ultimate there doing a lot of work. The red cards and gold cards and them also locked down. 610 doesn't blow the flash, has nowhere to go. Truly overextended in the top excuse me, top side. Now, pushing forward, Resolve, they want to try and suffocate Godsent now off this side of the map, and I mean, Aesthetic, he's got the flash.
Yeah, the Death Sentence will not land this time around. Aesthetic will be able to step away, but now Svene and Yusa want to get involved. Teleport coming through on the other side of the fight. Keep your eyes on Nocturne right side to dive in, but the damage coming through. Chu is here and getting onto Svene, but Yusa is pretty healthy. He goes low very fast as Soft burns him down. Kumu gets onto Kalen, but he's just ignoring the Vayne. Not someone you can be denying, but manages to go invisible. Now 610 is here, gets the kill, and it's just Soft. Can he get the Penta? He's found a Quadra throughout the entire fight, but doesn't win this 1v1. 610 diving forward, but that's a really nice red cover. The damage coming through, the flames are spinning. 610 gets away with a sliver of health, has the shield if he needs it, but the ace goes over to Godsent.
9 members die in that fight. Only 610 remains. Fast Leg died so early on that he's already back onto the map. Pretty explosive fight, but honestly, I don't know who it benefits. If anyone, it's just kills and summoner spells at best traded with ultimates in the mix too. See, it starts off with the Destiny Gate on top of Aesthetic, but he uses the ultimate to buy time. And this is where you see, he kind of turns around, but he's left on an island in that little corridor because Vene and Yusa have to respond to the paranoia and the fact that Archu's got a real nice flank angle. Soft just kind of reaps the benefits of those guys flashing back over the wall on top of them. And I have to kind of question Soft's delayed response to not flashing over the wall to save his AD carry initially when Akali's on top of him. But hey, Equalizer comes back off cooldown, off the top play, and almost wins in the 1v1 for a penta kill, but fortunately Quadra is the only thing that's going to be against this one. As Dragon's up now, but I don't know if, okay, well I was about to say, I don't know if they're going to fight for it, but they're looking for it.
Off, Chimera on the other side gets the stun down. There's the red carbon. The Equalizer in the fight, but Caleb goes low. Chimera goes down, and now the Nocturne's trying to get away, but the Akali grabs a double, does get melted in the end though, as a Chu still pretty healthy, looking to get on top of Aesthetic. Won't be able to find him flash over the wall, but it's just going to be returned, and 610 could look to dive onto Fast Leg. No Death Sentence fadeable, won't be able to find it. The Dragon is up, Resolve of the inside track, but they've lost one more member. It's a 4v3 if Godsent kick this one up. Resolve not interested in taking this fight right now. They're backing away, but Aesthetic could look to move in. Godsent should be able to pick up this Dragon. I don't know if there's going to be much contest.
This Dragon is just not worth fighting for at this point. You could see Soft immediately went to Grom. Archu and Fast Leg seemed a little more eager to get a couple more fisticuff sessions in, but Godsent pick up the Dragon. I don't think they'll be able to take this tower on this wave with the Resolve members returning back to the map, but still relatively nice win as Infernal Soul. I think pretty fitting for how this game's gone so far. More kills than minutes at the moment. That will change in a second. As I think we take a step back whilst we have a brief lull in the action. Items across the board, 2 items. The okay.
Brief lull in the action. Imagine believing this as Baron is started up by Resolve fast leg, looking for the flank. Needs to be a little bit careful. The paranoia has been used. So much damage going on down. Kaylin needs to be careful. But look on the back. Archie so low, but still alive, still shooting, still managing to survive, and he's going to be able to get out of this fight. But could look to go back in. Kamara gets the flank on with the gank, but look at the damage going in onto Tom Kedge. He's sacrificial lamb. Harley's doving on through. Gets one. Soft has to go gold. The can they go down. Another falls as the Super Mega Death Rocket will come through. And Chu is back. Low mana, high health. Going to be able to get rid of this Skull Crab. Kubu and Yusa not interested in continuing this one. Another close fight, but this time Resolve shaded.
Yeah, 4v5. I think Kubu was bottom side of the map potentially. I'm not entirely sure why he was so late to the party, but definitely wasn't a fight that they were expecting to sort of pop off and start initially, as Arshu really eager to fight, defend that mid-tier one, but does go down to Godsent as get a replay of it. It's the initial one. So Resolve, they see that Godsent are just kind of A-ramming it, so they go for the double globals, but it's a nice kick to disengage, and it allows Kubu to actually pick up 2 kills here. I will give credit to Fast, like he actually flays the Akali out of the perfect execution to stop his top lane from dying initially, but it doesn't help in the end. Chu somehow lives on a sliver of HP after getting kicked back. No more follow-up damage, and the peel was good, and this is a brilliant eat from Sone. Stops his AD carry from getting locked up by that gold card, sacrifices his life for it, and Kubu comes in, and then it's pretty much just clean up duty for Soft, or onto Soft, as just pretty much peel away. There's nothing more to be had. I think Archie went back to the top side to light still up on the wave, and now this is why I actually love seeing. When you've got 2 global champions, like Nocturne and Twisted Fate, I think it's really good to actually send both of them to one side of the map, and then pick on whoever comes to meet the split pusher, and then you still got both globals to go and respond to another play on the opposite side of the map. So I like that they at least had the idea to hover around there. We'll see if they continue to do it, as I think they might actually look onto 610. Caleb, you can definitely see, has the idea in his head.
610 on the bot side. Really split against Khmer right now. He's got just sticking around. Remember, the Baron wasn't taken in that last exchange, so it's still available as an objective. 2 minutes on the next dragon. It's only 3rd Drake. This game has not been the quick dragon taking ones that we've been
Absolutely
used to
not.
in the past couple of days of the NLC. No one's been putting too much priority on it, but it's still an option, of course, with both of them going the way of Godsent in 10 minutes time. That could be a little win condition in and of itself.
Yeah, definitely. And with the way this game's gone, I actually want to take a step back, because I tried to earlier, but there was that Baron fight, and speak about the items very briefly, because there's been so many kills traded back and forth that everyone's just kind of jacked. Like, look at the inventory. Like, Archu's got 3 items. Yusa's pretty close. If we could flick back to the gold, I want to see how close he is to that IE. He's like 2 more waves. I don't think he'll have it before this dragon, unfortunately, for himself. Unless he sells, has he got a Doran's Blade? He could sell his Doran's Blade, maybe, but I think he'd be late to this dragon fight. So yeah, both the AD carries pretty close to 3 items, while Archu's just finished his, obviously. And then just across the board, 2 items for almost everybody or more. Soft's on 3, Akali's on 2.5. The only one that's really lacking behind is Caleb. 1.5 items at the moment. Aside from that, obviously the supports just staying on their locket, plus more components, rewarding items. So with the amount of kills that have been in this game, everyone's actually pretty inflated in gold. And it just means more explosive team fights, because these champions are just objectively stronger than they typically are. Teleport being forced onto Kubu.
Gonna go in. Kubu has to go gold, and the damage coming down. There's the equalize. There's Death Sentence into the box, and instead it goes down for the first kill of the fight. Kubu being chased away on the side. Caleb helps get a kill, but he's still alive. It's a 1-4 trade in the end, and Chu is still alive. Takes the Super Mega Death Rocket. The Death Sentence will not hit 610 or Svene. It's a 1-for-2 Resolve with the advantage right now, but 610 feeling healthy. Svene feeling healthy. You can see the Jinx is coming up as well. Yusa wants to get some damage down. Kamara's on vision, looking for the gold card. Will not lock it in. There it is. There's stuff onto Yusa, and they've got Tom Ketch on the side. He gets to eat at the last second, but Yusa doesn't get out. Neither will Tom Ketch. 610 being burnt low. The chef is trying to get out of the kitchen and dodges away from the Death Sentence. I spoke a lie. Svene escapes. 610 escapes for now, but they move back towards this Baron. It's 4v2. What can 610 do? Does he want to fight? Does he want to go for the steal? What can Svene contribute here? Teleport coming on through. This is the Nocturne return to the fight. But look at the top side. We've got Team Fight Mark 2 late. Another equalizer comes on down. 610 looks for the assassination. Finds onto the Fresh, who goes down. Soft is burning low. Chimera is trying to get away from Kubu, but 610 being chased. Gets condemned against the wall. But the blast code gets him out anyway. The shield stops the burn from getting the kill. And everyone is routed. 610 being chased down. Achu should be able to get a couple of shots, but Caleb will assist. He actually gets away. He flees from the damage. The last auto was not given. Godsent give up. They're like, no, the Baron's not for us. They go to the Dragon, but what was that?
That's just a clown fiesta if I've ever seen one, is what it is. And at the end of the day, Godsent, they pick up this Dragon. Resolve, they're actually half considering contesting. There's the Destiny Gate, but it's pretty aggressive.
About this one, it's a 2v1 for now, but Soft's coming on through. Svenne goes very, very low. The Super Mega Deck Rocket is dodged and blocked by Soft. Chimera walks away. Again, no one goes down.
Well, that was an audacious element, Chimera. I'll say that, but very fit for this game. Yeah, I love it. Honestly, as Resolve, again, Chimera gonna just go reset. Yeah, I think he needs the HP back, and Resolve, they're one Dragon away from being sold on. So, you know, they have to consider what Godsent are actually doing on the map. You know, 3.5 minutes from now. Because if they give over that Infernal Soul, that's a pretty big damage tool to kind of just hand over to Godsent in a game that's been so explosive. As we get the replay of one of the Barons. I can't honestly remember which one, but you can see Akali deals way too much damage, man. Half health Archu, with just basically a 5-point strike in the first half of an E, as Caleb doesn't actually manage to get the kill onto Kubu fully, as the re-engage again. Death Sentence lands onto the Thresh, onto the Tahm Kench rather, and the gold card lands onto Yusa at the same time. So there's no safety net available to Jinx, and 610 lands a nice Sonic Wave, and now it's Godsent on the Baron of all teams. I think Resolve know this is going on. They've got that Skull Crab, they've got some global tools available, but Destiny Gate isn't there.
And of course, the Baron's going to be burning through the magic resist of the Godsent members, so Soft's going to be hurting even more. The Paranoia has been used. Who's going to be used onto, though? They've got a little bit of vision. Fast Leg just waiting for that Death Sentence to come off cooldown. Svenne goes low, but has that great health to sustain a little bit more. Baron's going to 2.5 health. As you can see, Kubu diving on and goes golden. As Resolve are in shambles, they want to get the kill into him. Soft has to go golden, but the Baron is secured by Godsent. Kubu diving on. Can he get anyone? No, he can't get a single kill. But right now, they're just trying to take away the Baron buffs. 2 have gone, but Godsent are to the wind. Can they get the remaining members out? Svenne uses the ultimate to free them, so Godsent will be away. 3 Baron buffs in pocket, but Resolve don't lose a member on the ensuing team fight.
Honestly, kind of feels like daylight robbery just because of how long Resolve have had control of that area. Godsent walk in once and say, all right, well, I guess we'll take the big purple worm. Yusa, is he in trouble? I've got fight hard. Like, anytime you've got the fight hard up. Wait, why is Chimera here?
Equalizer. The Death Sentence doesn't land, but Chu needs to be very, very careful. Goes to half health. Has to back away. Use a flash forward. Gets 1 reset. Gets 2 resets. Looking for Fast Leg, who steps up. Sacrificial Lamb goes down so that Soft can march away. Caleb on the top side, nowhere near. Triple kill for Yusa. Have Godsent just done it?
Godsent could run up mid and maybe end the game. There's not enough wave clear between Soft and Caleb here on the Nocturne and Rumble. Equalizer's coming up in about 25-ish seconds. I think Godsent could end. If they want to push for it, I think this is worth it. I think they can actually break open, at the very least, the Nexus towers off the back of just disrespect for Resolve. Godsent might just end right here.
He's putting the zaps down, goes onto that bottom Nexus tower. What can they do? 2 members of Resolve defending. Fast Leg going to be coming up, but there's damage coming through. The Equalizer landing, but members of Godsent are just staying so healthy. The second Nexus tower goes. The Nexus is laid bare. What can Soft do? Caleb has to go golden, but he's going to dive into Svenne. Yusa's still alive, but he gets burned through. Can they get a Nexus? Yes, they can! Godsent pick up their first win in the NLC with a massive win over Resolve.
Honestly, hats off to Godsent. I think they kept pace with the chaotic nature of that game. And off 1 play in the mid lane, whilst they have Baron, they end the game. I'm scratching my head. I am so perplexed by what Resolve were thinking. Walking up the mid lane with Chimera being that low, and then the disrespect which leads into the chain resets. I'm mind-bogged. I'm mind-blown. Props for Godsent for keeping that game so competitive, especially being 0-6. We saw them challenge Tricked yesterday. We maybe weren't expecting this game to be as, you know, competitive as it was potentially. Yeah. But man, did it deliver on the hype side of things, and it feels great to finally see Godsent actually pick up a win.
All of our NLC teams have now got a win, but yeah, you hit the nail absolutely on the head with the idea of it being a little bit disrespectful to overstay, but we're not going to overanalyze it. We've got 3 very intelligent and very handsome analysts on our desk. Goldberg and the gang, take it away.